So when we look at this parable, and what we just did was we answered these questions, red letter living. So it's not just that we read the letters, or the color of the word, but living. What does that look like? How does that apply in our lives? So as we walk away from this, we're going to do a couple things. Number one, the application here is heart conditions. The condition of our heart. Satan can steal the soil. We can have kind of a shallow heart, not letting that cultivation happen, to uproot some things and to tear up some rocky spaces. Areas where we might have not just reluctance, but opposition. We might not, I don't like that. And that could be maybe rocky soil. Maybe we have a long to-do list and you're like, Sarah, you don't know how busy my life is. Yeah, I have a lot, okay, maybe. But what's the state of our heart? For some of us, and it's interesting because some topics in the Word of God are more fruitful in our lives, right? So, for example, Reese is really good when he talks about money. That's one of his sweet spots. And when he talks about money and he brings the Word of God and integrates money with the Word of God, that's an area in his life that is fruitful. That's very, very relevant, and it bears a lot of fruit. But if you asked me about some areas that are not as fruitful in my life, probably some of the areas in my life that are not as fruitful is when God starts to deal with me on stuff that's in my heart that I don't like tender spots. Like, hey, forgiveness. You need to forgive. I get that I'm supposed to do that, but I don't really. That can be an area that's a struggle for me. Maybe I know some people that are really good at it. It's a very fruitful. So sometimes the Word of God can be fruitful in certain topics. But sometimes we don't want to hear la, 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 and then we're like, it's not working. Well, that's because maybe we're not listening. And the Word of God works, right? So thinking about it, in our own hearts, I would ask you this question. What places in your heart, or what are topics or areas that might have weeds? Lots of, you're occupied. Maybe it's the way you use your time. Maybe sometimes weeds can be something that we fixate on. We're concerned about, we're going to go into foreclosure, or we're concerned about a health diagnosis, or we had some sharp words with somebody at work, and we start fixating on that stuff. Those things can be weeds, right? They can steal your attention. They can get inside and take away the fruitfulness of the word because you're fixated. That weed is growing. And the seed gets choked by the weed. You tracking with me? So let's think about some of this, because I like that when Jesus talked in these parables, it was very, very relevant. And it's not only relevant to the people who are listening by the edge of the beach there, but relevant to us today.